People in their 40s, what's something people in their 20s don't realize is going to affect them when they age? Not wearing ear protection at concerts. Having tinnitus sucks. For anybody unaware like I was until my late 20s, they make earplugs that are designed to lower the volume without muffling the sound like the foam earplugs do. Do a search for musicians' earplugs. There are lots of options and range anywhere from $20 to $60 for generic plugs, Etymotic, Eargasm, Loop, Heroes, etc., all the way up to $200 for custom molded plugs. That life goes by fast, especially after 25. You find this out when someone says, "Hey, remember what life was like 10 years ago?" And you think back to 2004, not 2014. Junior, high school. You're moving at the same speed as a rickety African train on wooden tracks. The years just seem to crawl by. College. You've just stepped onto diesel-pulled train that does not move dead slow, but at the same time moves with a determined velocity. The first 2 years are slow. Then speed noticeably picks up in year 3. Work. You've just stepped onto the high-speed Shinkansen. You look out the window and the scenery is just sometimes a blur. Where did 10 years of my life go to? Where did 20 years go? Nobody tells you how fast life gets once you get into the world of work. That if you had perfect eyesight up until your 40s, then be prepared for the possibility that you will have to begin wearing glasses. 80% of people suffer from presbyopia, trouble focusing nearby items, by their mid-40s. It's a very common part of aging and the reason why most older folks need readers, for example reading glasses. It's just something you don't think about until it happens to you. Decent shoes with proper support. Nowadays, most workplaces have concrete floors with nothing to cushion your feet besides what you wear. Excessively wearing poor footwear can cause joint issues in your feet, knees, hips, and back. Stress, especially when you get to the age that you start to realize most of the shit you've worried about in life wasn't even worth worrying over. If it's causing you stress and you don't need it, walk away. What's meant to be in our lives will be, one way or another. All those old injuries you had in your life, the twisted knees, sprained or broken ankles, surgeries, etc., yeah, you're probably going to feel those again at some point in your life. Oh, and the fun part is when you hurt yourself, and it takes longer to recover. My knees are toasted from so many injuries when I played sports, and the multiple back injuries I've had keep getting worse and worse. Last year I sneezed and threw out my back and was laid up for 3 days. There is a way to counter this. If you work out, keep doing it. I stopped doing any real working out when I was in my late 20s. I'm sure had I continued, this might not pertain anymore. Eating fast food at 2 a.m. when you're drunk is great in your 20s. In your 40s, you feel like you're having a heart attack the next day, and you're dealing with acid reflux for the next 3. People in their 20s aren't prepared for the experience of having people younger than them claim that some experience was a foundational core of their generation when you had the same experience long before that. I'm in my 40s, and I get this all the time, with millennials claiming they were there for the birth of the internet, and then go on to talk about sites like eBaum's World and Homestar Runner and MySpace. When people my age have been using the internet and making memes and getting in stupid arguments since before the web existed. It will happen to you. Your experiences will be discounted by younger generations because every generation thinks they invented the freaking wheel. Gen X is just as guilty of this as anyone before or after us too, so don't think I'm saying we're innocent. We like to think that our generation has a monopoly on being the disaffected generation, but try telling that to 50s baitniks. You are not Hercules or the world's strongest man. Do not lift heavy shit to show off or because you think it's easier or quicker than getting help or the right equipment. Back problems will show up, and they can never fix them to be like you were before. This especially applies at work. No amount of money/job is worth being an invalid the rest off your life. Ah, the glorious 20s, where you think you're invincible, partying all night and surviving on coffee and optimism. But let me tell you, as a seasoned 40-something, there are a few reality checks waiting for you. First off, those hangovers you brush off with a greasy breakfast. In your 40s, a Friday night out means you're bedridden until Tuesday. Your liver and I have a good laugh about it over our kale smoothies. Speaking of food, remember eating an entire pizza at 2 a.m. without a second thought. Yeah, your metabolism will soon decide it's time to retire, and every calorie will cling to you like a needy ex. And let's talk about your back. Right now, you could sleep on a park bench and be fine. In your 40s, tying your shoes can send you into traction. Oh, and sleep? You'll soon trade wild nights for the sweet, sweet embrace of a 9 p.m. bedtime. Naps become the highlight of your weekends. Fashion? Enjoy those trendy clothes while you can. Comfort takes over, and suddenly those Crocs don't look so bad. Your taste buds will also pull a fast one on you. That hot sauce you love? Soon, a sniff will have you crying for milk. You'll start appreciating things like aged cheese and, brace yourself, vegetables. Tech will outpace you, leaving you bewildered by the latest gadgets. You'll be that person asking a teenager how to work your holographic phone. Friendships will shift too. Your massive social circle will shrink, but the friends who stick around will be the real MVPs. Mental health? In your 20s, you feel invincible. But life throws curveballs, and having solid mental health practices will save you from a midlife crisis involving a sports car and questionable fashion choices. But here's the kicker: wisdom trumps youth. In your 40s, you'll know yourself better, have clearer goals, and the confidence to chase them without apology. So, live it up now, but sneak in some self-care. Future you will be eternally grateful. Cheers to the ride. How fast time actually goes. Was told numerous times when I was in my 20s. Always said, yay, whatever. Well, here I am in my 40s, thinking where all those years went. So, enjoy life. Don't rush things. Stop and take it in. So, time, of course you want to save for retirement. However, don't be like so many older couples and singles I have met while on my travels. They spent their lives saving and saving, afraid to make any big purchases except for their home. It was only when they got old, they decided to finally spend on traveling. Sadly, they could not even enjoy it. It was difficult walking, they wanted to be in bed early. The heat/cold affected them more. One American lady I met broke her hip and ended up in hospital in Italy for 2 weeks. Save, but also live your life. Travel, eat great food, drink delicious wine, have adventures, buy things that bring you joy, take your family on trips and enjoy the ride. Better to cancel the wedding than deal with the divorce. I've seen this with multiple friends. Compound interest is a powerful force. Save for the future while living in the present. Lack of free time. I used to have 6+ hours a day to play games, hang out with friends, basically do nothing. Now I'm lucky to have 6 hours on a weekend to do what I want. When you're older, you aren't even going to care about doing anything, in your limited free time, and games you once loved will feel like a chore. I tried playing a few older games I sunk hours into when I was younger, and I can barely make it past the first part of the game. I must have reset FF7 10 times by now. You're going to start waking up earlier and earlier in the morning, even if you don't want to. Even if you went to bed late last night. Even if you're trying to catch up on sleep. There isn't much you can do about this, so learn to embrace it and become productive in the morning. I used to hate waking up in the mornings, and now I've grown to enjoy it.
Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, make sure to give a thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell for more videos. See you soon again.